Hello everyone, this is Coach Frank of Train 2.0, and I'd like to welcome you to week 3 of how to stick handle like Patrick Kane. So far in our journey here, in weeks 1 and 2, we discovered a new grip that set the stage for the right type of looseness and harmony in the hands. And then in week 3 here, we're going to make that same transformation with our hips. So before we go over how the hips are supposed to move in hockey, let's talk about how we traditionally train the hips when we're stick handling off the ice. And the two keywords that come to mind are stability and balance training tools. The problem with these tools is that they're designed around stabilizing the midsection of your core. And what ends up happening is that as you move the puck side to side or around your body with these tools, the upper torso is rotating around locked hips. So the body is disconnected through having a fixed point at the hips, which is kind of counterintuitive. It becomes disconnected when the hips are fixed. This is going to result in tension all over the body. You're stretching across, and you're not allowing your feet to kind of influence where the puck is at. So this allows for less movement options, and it becomes less efficient. Let's just look at Patrick Kane here on his breakaway goal when he was playing in Sweden from a few years back. And I want you to think about his hips as they move towards the net here, how much they're moving back and forth. Now, that to me is a sure way to just fail completely on a balance board. Now, I'm not saying that these tools are completely useless. We all want to be faster, stronger, have better cardio. We want to have more stability and balance. The problem is that when we use these tools with the wrong mindset, we're not training our mechanics. So we can stand on one foot and stick handle around our body, and that's going to have some type of benefit, but we're not training natural mechanics. So with that, what are natural mechanics? Natural mechanics allow for the hips to channel the movement. They don't cause the movement. They don't block the movement. The hips are loose. They're able to tilt and rotate side to side, not through muscular contraction, but through relaxation of the hips. The movement is driven by your feet, which we'll go over next week in more detail. To give you guys a sense of what that feels like, I'm sure we've all taken an awesome slap shot or an awesome one-timer, and we didn't put any effort into it, and it just popped off the stick. Let's pay attention to Patrick Kane's hips here and how they rotate and tilt through this one-timer shot. This is one of the most exaggerated forms of hip freedom. You can see how his hips aren't contracting. He's just letting him kind of go with the flow. So that's a shot, which is a little bit more obvious. Let's take a look at how he stick handles with soft hips. So he catches the puck over the blue line here, and you can just see hips go soft, no tension there, and even gets a shot off there too. And in this clip, is this possible if you have locked hips? Now, he's not tilting and rotating too much to the untrained eye, but you can see it now. A lot of rotation, a lot of freedom in the hips. And hips are hard to see, but now that we're bringing a little bit more awareness to you, you might be able to see something as Patrick Kane stick handles from his right foot here to his left foot. Watch the hips. Pretty interesting, huh? So hopefully those clips allowed you to see something that you won't be able to unsee. Let's go over how we can feel something that we can't unfeel. And the way we're going to do that is with your coaching this week, out with the old. So here we're going to be comparing and contrasting the old movement patterns and the new movement patterns that we're going to be installing here. So your drills for this week are kind of separated into two categories, old and new. And the first drill we're going to do is kind of replicating or kind of isolating the feel that we tend to get when we're under pressure on the ice. We tend to lock our hips a lot, especially in high traffic situations. So what we're going to do is a standing stick hip twist. And what we're going to basically do is actively move that stick side to side with our hips locked, level, and facing forward. So you're going to feel a lot of tension in your core. Do this for 30 reps and just one set. Next, we're going to be going into a stick handling pattern here. So we're going to be stick handling from toe to toe. Again, hips locked, level, facing forward. And you're just going to stick handle from foot to foot. You can do 10 reps, you can do 50 reps, whatever you need to kind of make the connection that this isn't the way to achieve what you want to achieve on the ice. Then we're going to move into allowing the hips to move and allow freedom in the hips. So what we're going to do is a standing stick twist again, this time allowing the whatever side of the body to collapse, and we're going to allow that to kind of change the tilt and direction of the hips. And notice where the stick goes when that happens. So notice where the stick goes as you relax one side of the body. It tends to go to the other foot. Just allow for that to happen and kind of allow your body to turn off, the different tension points or knots or whatever you have in that kinetic chain, and just allow yourself to kind of float back and forth. Do that for 10 reps. You might take 3 sets, kind of reset mentally in between set to turn those things off. Then let's apply that to our stick handling. So same thing as before, we're going to stick handle toe to toe, but this time all of the movement side to side is going to become is going to be driven by the relaxation of our hips, legs, and ankles. And we're going to allow that movement to flow through the hips and allow those to tilt. And we're going to go side to side. Now, this is an oversimplified view of what happens, in the game when you combine all the mechanics together from weeks 1, 2, and 3 with the grip and wrist springs. The lag in between, it's a little bit harder to see all these things. That's why we're isolating it here. But you really want to make sure that you're not holding tension in your hips. And this is a good way to do that. So do this for 3 to 4 days this week. Record a video and submit it to the Train 2.0 Facebook group if you're a member. Even if you're not a member, send it to our Facebook Messenger. We're happy to, make anyone better, giving them, a little bit of direction on this. There's a couple ways that we see our players kind of go wrong initially, and we kind of have to course correct them through this. Hips are very complicated, but once you combine all those mechanics, you're just going to be so smooth out there. And that concludes how to stick handle like Patrick Kane. It's all on the hips. This is the final episode in the series that we're going to be releasing on YouTube. The rest of the weeks 4, 5, and 6 are going to be released for our members. If you'd like to become a member, go check out our website, find out more how. And with that, we'll see you next week where we're going to be syncing the feet with this new tension-free posture. So a lot of cool ways we can manipulate the feet and steer ourselves through traffic, just like Patrick Kane. All right, thanks, guys.